27 in the supplement.
Oh,
Okay.
do you know where it is in, oh, I see it, it's chapter 10, okay.
Okay, we'll get there. First of all, I have to draw my picture and explain a couple of things. So, I mentioned this yesterday, whatever day it was, earlier in the week, right? So, when I have a VOR, there are 4 elements to my VOR. Okay, I have a frequency. So this is a frequency I can tune in. Okay, it's going to be on my map. I'll have that, and it's not relevant because they already assumed that we're tuned to a specific frequency here. Okay, so I'm going to have a frequency. I'm going to have my OBS. So my OBS, I see this knob here. Everybody's with me on the page. So page 2-27 in the supplement book. So I see the little knob there, and basically I can turn this outer ring. You can't tell that on the picture, but I can turn that outer ring. Okay, and so that's my OBS. I'm going to have a to from flag, telling me if I'm going to the station or from the station. It's really smart, okay? And then I'm going to have a needle that tells me where I am in relation to the course that I've dialed in.
What does OBS stand for?
Omni bearing selector. Gee, I'm good with these things, even early in the morning. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna draw a dot here, and this is my VOR. All right, and if I look at these diagrams, understanding for test purposes, they can only reference these particular diagrams. So it's very helpful for me to know what each one of these means. So that one says 210, 210, 210, 210, 210, 210, 030, 030, 030. So 210 and 030 are reciprocals of each other. Okay, so that's about 030. I'm just eyeballing. Okay, so this is the 030 radial, and this is the 210 radial. Everybody with me so far? Okay, so far we're not looking at anything too complicated. So you see where I got my line. So all of these pictures are reference to where an airplane is along that line on the VOR. So let's start with the simple ones. Number 2 here has a needle that's perfectly aligned. Okay, so airplane number 2 is on a heading of 210. So that means he's on a heading like this, and he has a from indication. So if he's going from the station, that means the aircraft has to be down here somewhere. We don't know how far. We don't get distance off this, but we know that that airplane is somewhere on this line.
How do you know it's from?
Okay, then I look down here, I see the little arrow. Get out your bifocals. I see the little white arrow points at the FR.
Oh,
Okay, everybody see the from? So I'm getting 3 pieces of information off that. The 210, the needle is centered, and I've got the from flag. Okay, now if I come one down, it looks exactly the same, except that little to from flag is switched to 2. Okay, so now the airplane is still on the same heading, but he's going to the station, which means got to be up here somewhere. That makes sense? It's going to the station, so he has to be up here going on that heading of 210. So the only difference was that to from flag. Now the next one is number 8. He's on a reverse course. Okay, so this time number 8 on a heading of 030. Okay, and he's going to the station. So that means number 8's down here. Now understanding a lot of our airplanes have more than one VOR in them. So theoretically, I could have one set up on 210 and the other one set up on 030. And they're both going to have centered needles. I'm in the same airplane. What this VOR doesn't know is it doesn't know which way I'm going. It knows where I am, but it doesn't know which way I'm going. That make sense?
No, because you just said you're going to the station, and that's the part that always
Okay,
freaks me
what we're going to do is we're going to make a presumption that the airplane is headed the direction that we say up here in the OBS. Okay, but if I show you a picture of a sunset in Vernon, Texas, very few of you are going to be able to tell whether it's actually a sunset or a sunrise.
Right.
Okay, so understanding, we really don't know what the compass says in the airplane. We know what we've told it. We've told it we want to go on a heading of 210. So it's going to assume we're on a heading of 210. And then we move one down, we told it we're on a heading of 030. And so it's not the smartest machine in the world. Okay, it only knows, which way am I going? Does that make sense? It doesn't know it doesn't really know which way I'm going. It only knows what I've told it. So I've told it I've told it 030, I've told it 210. Okay, so that one, and then the other one that has a centered needle is number 9, and it's on the heading of 030 with a from indication. So if I'm on a 030 with a from indication, I would be up here. Okay, so where's my math wizard? Anybody see anything odd yet? My odd numbers are up here. My even numbers are down here. This does not help me understand how the technology works, but it might be beneficial for test purposes. Because what you can do is you can recreate this drawing on your scratch paper, and that will help you answer the questions when we get into the questions. I see some confused looks around.
I guess I don't understand what is the purpose of VOR. What are we trying to?
Okay, what I'm going to be doing is, here's my little.
trying to figure out where you
All right,
are.
so here's the VOR is that white dot right there. Okay, if I'm on the 030 radial, so what I would know is that I'm somewhere along that line. If I'm on the 030 radial at the edge of the lake, I know precisely where I am. If I look down and see an edge of a lake, that's could be a lot of places. But if I've tuned it in on the 030 radial, then I know precisely where I am. Okay, so I've got this line here, this 023, it's a Victor, so basically I could fly that Victor 934 and go straight to that VOR, and I could be right on that line. But I don't have to be on those lines. I can just figure out where I am. If I'm over here at New Holstein, basically what I would do is I would turn the knob until the needle's centered with a 2 indication, and that would give me the heading straight into Oshkosh. So it's a navigation device. It's a way for me to go from point A to point B. Okay.
So it's for me to know where I'm going, not for someone else to know where I am.
No, this is for me in the airplane. I've got basically I've got a radio in my airplane, and I tune it to this frequency, or whatever frequency is up there, and then then I can figure out where I am in relation to that. And then I can also, I've got 2 of them, all right? So I've got the VOR here at Oshkosh, and let's say I'm on the 095 radial. So I'm kind of like, okay, I'm on that 095 radial, and then I can tune up here to, don't let me say it wrong, Manitowoc. Anyway.
It's a crane.
So basically the 210 radial, 215 pulls me down over this, and so if I look down there and I see that airport, and I'm cross-referencing those VORs, triangulation, I know, oh yeah, that's New Holstein. It's not Sheboygan. It's not something else. So it can help me I can use that cross-reference and know precisely where I am.
This is way easier to learn actually in the airplane than on the ground.
It really
I can
is.
take everybody out flying probably once, maybe twice, and it'll snap. to
It'll
you.
click. But
So.
with understanding what, you know, what we're doing, like say from Oshkosh down to Sheboygan, it's basically 111 degrees going this way, 296 going that way. So you're like, okay, very cool. But if I'm confused about where I am, then I can pull a radial off this one and where it crosses that line, and I'll know whether I'm on that lake right there or whether maybe there's another lake over here or something. And so I can know how far I am from whichever place I'm going. Okay, but this does not, but this machine does not know the direction of the airplane. Okay, so the airplane can be pointed in any direction, we just know where it is. Okay, so these are the easy four. So the ones with the needle centered. Okay, and so then let me move over. Okay, number 1 is on a heading of 210 with a 2 indication. So 210 with a 2 indication means they're up here, and the needle is to the right. So that means the airplane, basically the needle is pointing at where the course is. So the airplane, we've said we want to be on this path, but we're not there. And the needle says, oh, you need to turn right to get there. So that means the airplane's over here. So airplane number 1 is somewhere over here. We don't know, okay, each dot that the needle crosses, so it's right at 2 dots, he's 4 degrees off course, 2 degrees per dot. You don't really have to know that at this level, but understanding at 60 miles, 1 degree is 1 mile off course. So he's 4 degrees off course. If he was 60 miles away from the station, he's 4 miles off course. If he's 30 miles from the station, he's 2 miles off course. If he's 15 miles from the station, he's 1 mile off course. It's a, you know, it's kind of a triangle. I mean, kind of like a wedge of pie getting, you know, once you get closer and closer, the pie point gets really harder and harder to keep crisp. Okay?
You said each one of the, I know it's not important for
Right.
VOR, but you said each dot was how many?
2 degrees.
2 degrees.
Yeah. Don't worry about that, but just kind of, so you understand kind of that there's a purpose to the dots.
So repeat the distances again. You said if you're 10 miles out and you're 1 notch out.
Yeah. It's 60 miles at 1 degree is 1 nautical mile. Okay, so
So this person would have to turn right?
they have to turn right to get
Back
on
on
course.
So they're not off course to the right, they're off course.
To the
Yes.
left.
So this airplane is
Yeah,
out
to the
here, and to get back onto this course, they're gonna have to turn, and you know, and having an idea how far you are off course kind of gives you an idea of how much you need to turn to intercept that course. Okay, so if I want to go to that door, I'm walking this way, it's like, Mary, you need to turn X number of degrees to get to the door. But if I'm back over in that corner, it's a different amount, okay? So,
Can I ask one more question? So as you're correcting and you're clearing, does that needle come in contact with those?
it'll move in, yes. So it starts over there, you know, half deflection, and as I move in, it's gonna be less and less, and it'll eventually zero in. Okay?
So you knew okay. Can you use the plane again, because this makes a little more sense to me when
Okay.
you show me.
All right.
So how did you know, like,
Okay,
how did you know so the to and from told you which direction the plane was going in?
Yeah.
well, yeah, basically, that's what I'm
Okay.
using. I mean, I don't really know the direction that it's
Yeah.
going, but I know what I've told the machine. So
Okay.
I know what the machine is thinking. Okay?
Okay.
So the machine thinks the airplane's on a heading of 210. Okay, the
Yep.
machine thinks I'm going to the station. So the machine thinks this is where I want to be.
Yeah,
But the machine knows that
I'm over
I'm
here.
not on that course.
Right?
I'm over here, but it doesn't know, if this is a 4-degree, it doesn't know whether I'm here or here. It just knows that I'm somewhere
Over
off
there.
course.
Okay, because I was
This is the two, and
thinking
this is from.
flying
So you have to
from,
determine
you
which
would
way.
be off course to the
Right,
right,
the
and you
little
would
flag
turn
underneath.
left to get off course. But
So when
it's
there's
the-
no
it's
flag.
It's
the
pointing
turn
it,
from that.
yes, basically, you need to go that way, you need to go that way, you need to go that way.
Okay, I got it. Okay, I
We
think.
call it the zone of silence, or the
Okay.
zone of confusion.
So, so that was,
So-
And that's where, you know, they're heading this way.
1, 2,
They're from, they're
and this is
leaving the
confusion.
station. from
4.
what's leaving.
Okay,
And
number
they're over the
4,
top of it, or in the zone area.
we're still telling it we're flying 210,
Yeah, we're going to the station.
and
It's
we
always
are,
trying to
the
point
needle
to
is to the left, so, and I have a from indication, I have a to indication. So 4, I'm still up here with a to indication, but my needle is to the left, so number 4 is up here somewhere.
Do you know how far to the left based on that needle?
No,
No, okay.
Okay.
You're left.
yeah, we know that, I know how many degrees, but I don't have distance. If I had distance, then I could tell you precisely how far off course he was. But without the distance, I have no way of knowing.
Doesn't really matter.
Huh?
Doesn't really matter.
Doesn't matter. Now, what I would do is I would use another VOR and get a radial, and then I could know precisely where I was.
Triangulation.
But for this purposes, I only have one VOR.
A lot of those practice questions are like that, because they think this radial go here, and this here, what here for.
Except take how they triangulate where cell phones, they use some kind of towers.
More than one tower, yeah. The VORs are just nothing but a tower.
Yeah. Kind of looks like a bowling pin sometimes, or,
That white thing out there, that in a red on the other side of the runway, kind of looks like a small miniature VOR. They're quite big, actually,
well, they're big around, but they're not very tall.
you know, but they're still taller than people.
Huh?
They're taller than people.
Well, they're taller than people, but they might not be but 20 feet tall. So they're not like big giant antennas. But, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, I need 6, okay. 6 is on a heading of 210 with a from indication. And the needle is to the left. So airplane number 6 is, I'm sorry, going the wrong way. I'm turning around.
Yeah.
It's on this heading, he needs to turn left, so number 6 is over here.
Can't go where you already are.
Yeah. And it, like I say, when you're sitting here on paper doing this, get out your paper, draw your lines, they won't let you use a toy airplane, but figure out which is the nose of your airplane and which is the tail.
So does he have to turn left here again, or?
He's gonna have to turn left. If I look at it, the needle is to the left. And so what if I'm doing is if I put this on there like that, and it's like, oh, okay, I need to go to the left to get there.
Okay, that's what I guess.
Yeah. So that's why number 6 is there. And so I think I have 3 and 7 are the ones that are left. Okay, so these are difficult. All right. 3 and 7 do not have a to from flag. 3 is saying I'm on a heading of 210, and 7 is saying I'm on a heading of 030. But what happens is I don't have a to from flag. So what happens here is we understand how if we're off course, so if I'm in airplane number 1 and I don't correct, and I just keep on going this direction, okay, I can do that, that's fine, it doesn't know what I'm doing. But when I cross about here, if I cross right here, that to from flag is gonna flip. Right here I'm on 2, and then as soon as I fly over it, it's gonna flip to the from. Okay, but if I'm over here, the 2 goes away, wait for it, 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 until I cross about here, I'm not gonna get the from. Cone of confusion. Okay, so the machine, it lost me. It doesn't know whether I'm coming or going. I'm like, I don't know what you're doing. I know where you are, kind of, sort of. But you are southeast of the station. That is a test question. So, aircraft 3 and 7 are down here in the cone of confusion. Aircraft 3, we've told it we're going this way. Aircraft 7, we've told it we're going that way, but you can see by the needle deflection that 7, we said we're only heading a 030. The needle is all the way to the left, telling I need to turn left. 030, I've told it I'm going now heading 210. The needle's all the way to the right, telling me I need to go that way. Okay, so I've done this a time or two. So 3 and 7 are down here in the cone of confusion. 5 and 9 are up here on the line. 2 and 8 are down here on this line. Now there's one particular question out there, and your choices are 2, 5, and 8. So Meenal, if my choices are 2, 5, and 8, what's the correct answer?
5.
Yeah, because you can't, 2 and 8 would be basically the same, it's like, if the airplane is over whatever city, would you have indication 2, indication 5, or indication 8? Well, if I was over that city, I would have 2 or 8. So 5 is the odd man out. That make sense? It's kind of like, that make it, okay, now I'm teaching the test. But that's kind of, but understanding, when you're using it in the airplane, it is much more intuitive. It is easier to use. But you can also, if you're lost, you tune into the station. You tune it into if I'm out here and I've got no clue where I am, then I'm going to tune into the frequency. I'm going to spin that OBS until it says 2. Then I'm going to center up the needle, and then whatever radio it's on, that's the heading that I would fly. Okay, so if I'm down here and I'm going to spin that needle till it says 2, it's going to say 030, and that needle centers, and I'm like, okay, a heading of 030 will take me to that VOR. Now I may not want to go to that VOR, but at least I know where I am.
You say spin it to 2, you mean TO, not TWO.
Yes, yeah.
You want it,
I
yeah,
love
you
the
want the
English
flag to
language.
say 2, and you
Gotcha.
want the heading indicator
Right.
to match that.
I mean, if, I'm lost in Sheboygan, and so somebody knows, okay, I'm in the Walmart parking lot. So the next thing Amina's gonna ask me is like, which Walmart? And I'm like, I don't know. It's like, okay, what else is there? Is there a Qdoba in the parking lot? Is there a Holiday Inn across the parking lot from you? So she knows what's around. So once she knows where I am, then she can tell me how to get to where I want to be. But we have to figure out which parking lot I'm in before she can give me directions to where I want to be.
So the difference between 2 and 8 is one's going away from the VOR, one's going to.
Exactly.
So heading.
And that's really, and it's not that the airplanes are going that way. That's what the machines are, that's what one radio is set one way and the other one is set the other way. Okay, so it's not,
Oh, so both planes could be facing the VOR, it's just one.
right, we don't
receptive
know.
one? Oh.
If I have 2 separate radios in my airplane, I can have one set up like 2 and one set up like 8.
Light bulb.
Didn't even think of it that way.
Yeah, not very beneficial. But that's what the VORs, and if you haven't already, I suggest you either draw this out or you take a picture of it. Yes, the video will be up, okay, but I have told y'all that when you walk in to take your test, you don't have to immediately start taking tests. You have a few sheets of scratch paper, and they will give you more. They keep count of how many pieces of paper they give you. So if they give you 5 pieces of paper, they want 5 back. If you need 5 more, they want 10 back. So they're very particular about that because they don't want you writing all the answers down and carrying them out. But, so what you can do is when you sit down to take the test, you can draw off this diagram. Okay, and most of you will remember 2 and 8 are down here, and 5 and 9 are up there, and 3 and 7 are over here. Okay.
Maybe do a couple of the questions, just so
Yeah,
we can
we
see
can-
how they relate to
yeah.
the questions.
So we can't answer a question, maybe, who knows?
Just a suggestion.
Navigation. This was figure 28, so let me look at something. Okay, refer to figure 20, area 3, and figure 28. Oh, I think I've answered this one already.
Page you on?
What page?
Okay, in the book, I'm on page 10-7, navigation towards the back. The question is 3533. So, refer to figure 20, area 3, which is down in here, okay? Elizabeth City. Okay, so, I'm tuned to the Elizabeth City VOR, and the aircraft is positioned over Shawboro, a small town 3 nautical miles west of Currituck Regional. You're like, what? Okay. So I find Shawboro, and I see it's just a little round dot there. So I see where Shawboro is. And Shawboro is happens to be on the 030 radial of that VOR. Okay, so I am over Shawboro. Which VOR indication is correct? So, get up here. Here's the VOR. Shawboro is over here right next to this little airport. So the town is this little dot right there. Kind of hard to see. It's an eye test. So I find Shawboro, and I'm like, okay. So my choice is, I'm over a little town called Shawboro, which is right there. Which of these am I going to have? 2, 5, or 8? It's as easy as that.
Where was Elizabeth City?
Area 3. So down here, Elizabeth City is down here. They need to come around and show. So we all find Shawboro, and our choices are 2, 5, and 8. Okay, so here's Elizabeth City. Yeah, and then the little town is near Currituck, so here's Shawboro. So I can see that it's on the 030 radial. So which of these indications should I have? My choices were 2, 5, or 8. Okay, so 2 and 8 are down here, so it has to be 5. Even without really, even without looking, I know that 2 and 8 would have been in the same position. Over Shawboro, if I was over Shawboro, I could have indications 5 or 9. That make sense? Okay, the next question, refer to figure 24 and 28. Figure 24. Okay, down in her part of the world, Bonham, Texas. Okay, so the VOR is tuned to the Bonham vortex, which is area 3. So I find area 3. So Bonham is up here. Okay, page 2-23, figure 24. Okay, so I see where the Bonham Airport is. Bonham VOR is. Okay, and the aircraft is positioned over the town of Sulphur Springs. So if I find Sulphur Springs on here, so Sulphur Springs is down here. Okay, so this is the VOR I'm using. Sulphur Springs is down here. Okay, so if I put this on here, if I look at that, and it's kind of like, okay, I'm over the VOR and I'm headed to Sulphur Springs, I'm down here in the cone of confusion, aren't I? So my choices are 1, nope. 7, yep. 8, nope. So if I can, and by all means, you got a piece of paper, you can draw this off and you can put that piece of paper over this map, or you can put the map over your piece of paper. You don't have to be little robot sitting at your desk and not move your papers around and keep them aligned in front of you. You can't steal her paper, but you can turn your book upside down. Y'all understand how we did this?
Mary?
I don't know if this will confuse everyone or not, but one of my former ground instructors gave us this.
Okay,
And so you're gonna put the arrow on the line, whichever way you're going,
right,
and right and left or backwards.
right.
Go right or left, and then drum on top of the two, and so you actually just kind of put this whichever direction you're going.
Yeah.
So you can see which quadrant you're in.
Let me put that on the camera for the ones that, so what Angel has is, and I'll kind of use my little toy airplane. So the VOR is here, okay?
Hold it up a little higher, Mom.
And if assuming I'm headed north on here on this line, okay, or I can turn it whatever direction I'm going. I mean, I can turn this wherever. But once I've crossed that VOR and I'm on this line, I'm going to have a from indication. If I'm down here, I'm going to have a to indication. I'm going to the station. Okay, if my needle is to the left, I'm over here. If my needle is to the right, I'm over here, telling me I need to turn right to get on course, or I need to turn left to get on course. So what I can do is, what we had up here, we can put that on that radio just like that. Did it click for anybody?
I think so.
Okay, so I take this and you just kind of, basically what I would do here on this one is on this diagram, it's either gonna say 210 up there or 030 because that's what the diagrams show. If they give me something else in the question, but if it has 210, I'm gonna put it like this. If it has 030, I'll put it like this.
Could you just repeat that one more time? I
Okay.
think I got it.
Yeah, okay. So if my example says 210, so the 2 and 8, both of them said 210, or no, sorry, one of them said 210. If it says 210 at the top of the symbol, then I'm going to put my 210 at the top of the page, and then I'm going to put that over that line. Basically put it on a heading of 210. And then I'll know which quadrant I'm in. And if it says 2, I'm up here, left or right needle, I know what I'm doing. If it says 030 at the top of the VOR, then I'm going to pretend I have a 030 up there, and I put it over that like that with the 030 up there.
I think so.
So if I'm on a heading of 030,
That's all you can do.
if I have a 2 indication, I'm headed this way. If I have a from indication, I'm already past it. And if I'm directly on the line over here, I'm in the cone of confusion.
Do we have a copy machine?
Do you have a pencil? You can make a copy.
Snap a picture of it.
Huh?
Snap a picture of it.
Yeah, snap a picture of it. I mean, you can't carry this in for the test.
But you can
And draw
create
one.
anything from your memory, and I wish that I had, because I screwed up the VOR questions on the
Right.
written, because I didn't remember how exactly that worked, but if I would have memorized that, and then put it on a scratch piece of paper that they give, because you can write anything, and
Yes.
you can write your cloud clearances, you can write anything.
Right, you
on
can
the scratch
download
paper.
anything onto that scratch paper that you need or want, or, you know, you're not gonna know what you're gonna need as you go into that test.
Yeah,
But you can, before you take the test, you can sit in your car and review, and it's kind of like the things that are difficult for you, you can kind of, okay, focus on them. It's like I can memorize a phone number for a minute or two until I can get to pen and paper. So that's what you're doing, is you're memorizing this until you can get down to pen and paper, and then you just transfer it to, you know, and even if, you know, like I say, you go in there and they have to do all this paperwork and you're like, crap, I forgot this. Let me go use the restroom real quick before I start the test. I mean, but you can, you know, you really can look this over immediately before you sit down to start testing, and then download it straight on from brain to paper. You can take out whatever you walk in within your head, you can put it on paper.
I memorized patterns of numbers for cloud clearances. Other people found it helpful to do a diagram
Right.
for cloud clearances, but I found it helpful to do memorizing patterns of numbers for cloud clearances, wrote that down on scratch paper, but I wish that I would have had this
Yes.
memorized to write down on scratch paper.
Well, did you see Bah Humbug, or did you miss Bah Humbug?
No, I don't know.
Okay, so,
We're good.
all right.